welcome to Crime Divers. I'm Laura.
And I'm Jill.
And welcome to today's episode.
Hello, everybody.
So, Jill, where in the world are we?
We're in the USA.
And your title today?
Murder in the Basement.
Okie dokie. Shall we dive in?
Yes. So, Shad Thyrion, who's the victim, was born on the 7th of September 1997 in Green Bay, Wisconsin, to his parents Tara and Michael, and he had two sisters and a brother. After high school, he worked with his dad and his granddad in their family business. He enjoyed camping, wood carving, gaming, and spending time with his family. He was described as being kind, compassionate, and always put others before himself. But unfortunately, that's all I could find out about him. There wasn't a lot about him, but I did find out a lot more about his killer, Taylor Coronado. So I'll tell you what we know about her. Okay. So Taylor was born on the 11th of November 1997, also in Green Bay, to parents Marla and Arturo. Unfortunately, her mum died when she was 11, and her only sibling, a brother called AJ, he died in a motorbike accident in 2021 when he was only 22.
Oh dear.
So her dad did remarry, but that marriage ended when he was accused of raping a minor in his care. So he's currently serving a 12-year sentence for second-degree sexual assault of a child.
Right.
And the child in question was only 13, and she was a relative of his wife, who, of course, filed for divorce.
So I'm not surprised.
So Taylor went to live with her paternal grandparents after her mum died, and she has been receiving mental health treatment since she was in the 7th grade. So basically since she was about 12 or 13. Mm-hmm. So you're going to laugh at this. According to court records, Taylor changed her last name or surname from Coronado to Shabusiness.
Shabusiness. Taylor Shabusiness.
Taylor Shabusiness, yeah.
Okay.
So she changed it in 2013.
It's a bit of a random surname.
Well, I've written here, I have no idea why, because it's a bizarre name.
It is very bizarre.
And at first I thought maybe it was her husband's name, because she did get married.
Uh-huh.
And on Facebook he has the same surname as her, but when I looked further, I saw that his surname is Shabau. And he says that he gave her the surname Shabusiness. So I don't know if he came up with it and they both changed their name. It's
okay. Well, I mean, each to their own.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to change your name, it's a bit of a weird one,
I think sometimes, you know, I know you're entitled to change your name, but there should be a line there to be come on, that's a bit ridiculous. But
well, remember on Friends when it was Princess Consuela Banana Hammock?
Yeah.
And Crap Bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you shouldn't even to just change your name to anything.
No, I mean, yeah, I just think there should be a line there, and then maybe that's not what I would be thinking of as a surname, but I'd say each to their own, so fair enough.
Well, if they want people to laugh at them, that's exactly what they got.
Exactly.
So, she got married to Warren so she'd met him in 2017, changed her name in 2018, and then she got married to him on the 14th of February 2020, and they had a son called Matteo the following year. So she had a criminal record. In June 2020, she was charged with battery or threat to a law enforcement officer, a felony, and resisting or obstructing an officer. She was sentenced to 3 years of probation and 60 days in jail. In August that same year, she was charged with misdemeanor possession of drug paraphernalia, resisting an officer, and felony fleeing from an officer in a vehicle, and she was sentenced to probation for 2 years, so in total she was on probation for 5 years.
Jesus.
So Warren, the husband, he also has a criminal history. He had been convicted of charges including armed burglary, dealing marijuana, theft, operating while intoxicated, resisting an officer, and disorderly conduct with a domestic abuse modifier, I don't know what that means, between 2010 and 2020. And he was in prison at the time of this case, after being convicted of federal drug charges. So he was in prison.
Right.
So there's a post on his Facebook in 2023, which by then his wife Taylor had been convicted of what I'm going to tell you. Mm-hmm. So and so his post on Facebook reads, quote, "My name is Warren E. Shabau, but I'm the one that blessed Taylor with the last name Shabusiness. Either way, I'm currently locked up on federal charges because I was framed." So he also had access to Facebook. I don't. They get access to the internet.
Probably
They must
a
do.
secret phone that they've got in. You know what I mean? They smuggle in phones and stuff. So.
I was wondering if they actually do get access to the internet. Like maybe they get controlled things. Well, you get like TV time on that from when I've watched Bad Girls back in the 90s.
Well,
you got
maybe.
TV, you get leisure time. Maybe that's part of it now. Maybe they've progressed with the ages and you get time on the internet. I've no idea, but
I mean, it's tough to really monitor you though, because who knows
Yeah.
who you'd be messaging. So I don't know.
there might be.
I
I mean,
mean, that's a bit of a big privilege, I would say. That
it's well, that's what I thought, but I don't know. And I mean, I know that you can put you can block certain things on the internet. You can block certain, so you can't search certain things. But
I reckon it's more likely being like one of those smuggled phones and.
well, I'm gonna look it up.
Well, because you want to know the answer. Can prisoners access the internet?
Access internet in prisons. Internet use in prisons allows inmate to communicate with the outside world. Much like the use of telephones in prisons, the use of the internet under supervision is approved in 49 US correctional systems and 5 Canadian provinces.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Although, when you say internet, I mean, does that include social media platforms, or is that just like general internet uses if they want to, like, say, search for, I don't know if they'd like, you know, towards the end of the sentence, maybe search for jobs or houses, you know what I mean? Maybe there's limits on that. So
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there is limits. I don't know if they're allowed to use social media, but they do have
internet access.
yeah. So, right. So I'm going to start that again. So it's his post on Facebook, which by then Taylor had been convicted, which reads, quote, "My name is Warren E. Shabau, but I'm the one that blessed Taylor with the last name Shabusiness. Either way, I'm currently locked up on federal charges because I was framed." Yeah, okay. "Anyways, I beat a conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine charge and pled to a possession with intent to deliver, which is the best deal I could get. So I was sentenced to 28 months because I already had 25 months in at the time of sentencing. With this being said, I just know I'll be out by January 2024, but possibly November or December of this year. So plan on Warren Shabusiness to be out soon. Now you know a little more about Warren, and trust me, come my release there will be lots more to know about myself and my wife. Hashtag free my wife, Taylor Shabusiness. Hashtag loyalty over everything." So I found that last hashtag interesting, loyalty over everything, because his wife certainly wasn't loyal to him, and I'm not sure he was loyal to her either, which we'll get to.
Oh, okay.
So, and as I said, like, he said he was going to be out in January 2024, but when I looked it up, I couldn't see if he'd been released yet or not, because obviously now it's
August
2024, so
yeah.
I don't know if he's out or not. But I looked at Taylor's Facebook as well, and on the 13th of January 2022, she wrote a post saying, quote, "I got hitched to show them my commitment, loyalty and dedication to them. That I was never gonna be how I used to be. Then they turn around and fuck on me. There's no way I'll ever go into another relationship. Hashtag can't trust no one." So that's why I'm thinking loyalty. It sounds like she's talking about her husband because she's talking about getting hitched. Okay. And she also put a post saying, completely off topic, but I just thought it was concerning, that she wrote, quote, "Went off and told an addict I'll never stop buying you dope so I could sit back and watch you die."
Okay.
So, yeah, to me that just seems a bit concerning.
Yes, that is very concerning.
So, at the time of the crime, Warren was in prison and Taylor didn't have custody of their baby, because remember they had a little boy called Matteo.
Yes.
His paternal grandparents have custody of him now, so hopefully I'm hoping that he was maybe with them this whole time, and just so he's had some stability and looked after properly.
Absolutely.
So no.
Who's Tad?
It could have been their joint name, because it's Taylor and Shad. So
yeah.
Taylor and Shad Thyrion, who is, remember, that's the victim, that's who I told you about to start off with. So Taylor and Shad, they had known each other from school. They were both 24, they were into partying and taking drugs, and they were having sex with each other, but I don't know if it was like a full-on relationship or just like a friends with benefits kind of thing, because she was married, even though her husband was in prison, so not quite sure what the situation is, but they were having sex.
Right, okay.
On Monday, the 21st of February, 2022, Taylor picked Shad up from his mum's house at about 9:30pm. They went to Taylor's apartment and they were joined by a friend. They smoked cannabis with the friend, and then when the friend left, Taylor and Shad also smoked methamphetamine and injected trazodone. So I looked that up because I didn't know what that was, and it's a medication used for anxiety and depression, which I'm sure you're probably supposed to use orally, but they were injecting.
Okay.
Obviously, it has a different
Buzz.
Yeah. So they then headed back to Shad's mum's house, Tara Packanick. Tara Packanick, where he sometimes stayed over in the basement bedroom. So he didn't live. I'm not sure actually who he lived with, because his mum said that he didn't live there, but he stayed over now and again.
Oh, okay.
And she did say at some point that she picked him up for his.
Sorry.
She did say that she'd picked him up from his dad, so I wonder if he maybe lived with his dad then most of the time, or maybe just flitted in between. So they went back to his mum's house, and the house was empty as Tara and her boy, because her mum and dad split up. His mum and dad, sorry, and her boyfriend Steve Hendricks, they were out at the time. So they headed on down to the basement bedroom, and then 2 days later, the emergency services got a call from Steve, the mum's boyfriend.
Okay.
He told them that he needed an officer to come to his girlfriend's house. He said that his girlfriend, Shad's mum, had just woken up, because it was about, I don't know what time it was, I think it was about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Go on then, have a cough. Just,
I'm good.
are you?
Yeah.
I was just stopping, so I thought I would just let you get it out. Laura's still coughing from COVID. So, if I see her try to cough, I'm going to stop so that you're not coughing over me. So he said that his girlfriend, Shad's mum, had woken him up and told him that she had just found her son's severed head in a bucket in the basement.
Oh my god.
So the officer was like, okay, like, did you look in the bucket? And Steve was like, no, I couldn't, like, that just freaked me out. So he said he did go down to the basement, and there was like a towel over the bucket, so he'd sort of like tried to lift the towel, but then he was like, nah, I can't do it. He couldn't bring himself to look, but he was like, there's definitely something in that bucket. But the way that he's speaking, because you can, the 911 call is on YouTube, so the way he's speaking is as if he doesn't quite believe it, and because like the way that he worded it, because he said to the operator that his girlfriend swore that her head, like, he's like, she swears that her head's in her son's head's in the bucket, rather than our son's head is in the bucket. It was like she swears that it is, and like when the operator asked again, he said that, well, she claims that her son's head is in the bucket. So it was like, but would you believe that? You'd be a bit in shock, I would think.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
The operator obviously wasn't so sure as well, because he was like, do you think she could be hallucinating? And Steve was like, I don't think so. There's definitely something in that damn bucket.
I'm just kind of wondering where the rest of the body is then.
Well, I'll tell you.
I hope so.
So the operator asked if Shad had been missing. He was like, well, has the son been missing? Like, and he's like, no, like, Steve said, quote, no, he was here yesterday with some chick. Then all of a sudden nobody's here, and she came up to use the restroom a couple of times, end quote. And then he then says, obviously, he must be talking about Tara now, Shad's mum, and he says, quote, she keeps calling and calling, and now she's saying that she hears the phone down there too. So she must have been like, she's probably not quite believing herself as well that this is her son's head, so she's phoning him to find out where he is, and she could hear his phone ringing in the basement, so that's obviously not good. So the operator was like, right, can I speak to Tara? So Tara comes on the phone, and he was like, right, what's going on? And she was like, I'm pretty positive that I've just found my son's head in a bucket. So the operator obviously said, when did you see him last? And she said that she'd last seen him 2 days before on the Monday, when she had picked him up from his dad's house. She said that he didn't stay at her house all the time, but he had been there for a couple of hours, and then Taylor had came to pick him up, and he'd left with her.
Right.
She hadn't seen him since then, but she knew that he and Taylor had came back to the house on the Monday night, because she must have heard them coming back. And she didn't see them all day on the Tuesday, but she just thought that they'd stayed in bed all day, because she could hear movement. She just thought they were down in the basement.
Yeah.
You know, the guys, they're both 24.
Aye. She doesn't need to be checking in on him and all
Exactly.
that stuff. Yeah.
She's like, I can hear him. So, yeah. So, that night, just before the 911 call, Tara and Steve had been sleeping, because as I said, it was about 2:30 o'clock in the morning. And Tara woke up because she heard a door slam, and then she heard a car, like a vehicle, start up and drive away. So, I think she must have looked out the window and realised that it was Tara's. Well, I think she wasn't quite sure what Tara had been driving, but there had been a vehicle outside the house that she assumed was Tara's. She looked out the window, it was gone, so she's like, no, sorry. Taylor, yeah. Taylor, Tara.
Yeah, similar.
I know. Sorry, so I think she just kind of assumed it was Taylor's minivan.
Yeah.
Gone, of course. So she got up to go for a pee, and she saw that the basement light was on. So, I don't know if she wanted to check to see if Shad was there, or if she's like, oh, I thought he'd gone away, and he's left the light on. Anyway, she went to the basement to switch off the light, or whatever, or just say hello to her son, I don't know. So, she went in the basement, Shad wasn't there. So, she turned round to walk back up the stairs, and she saw this bucket that was sort of, must have been out of place, with a towel over it. And she actually thought, for fuck's sake, that's why we've barely seen them, because they've been using that to pee in. You know, they've been using that as a toilet. And for some reason, she still decided to look. I mean, if I thought it'd been using it as a toilet, I would have been like,
no.
Do you want to come back and go and take your pee away? But, you know, she took away the towel, and she saw a severed head.
God, I mean, can't even imagine what that must be like to...
Because
that would just... That
has to be the worst thing in the world, like, or it's definitely got to be up there.
I mean, it's bad enough, you know, when, you know, see it in the movies and all that, and I'm like, oh God, no, close my eyes, don't want to see that. But then, you know, if you actually saw that in real life, I mean, that must be pretty... Like, I think that would, like, haunt me for life, probably.
Aye. I think she must have been in shock, though, or in disbelief, because when you hear her on the 911 call, her and her boyfriend Steve, they do sound quite calm, but I'm like...
It'll be the shock.
Yeah, it has to be, because if you saw that, you would be totally freaked out, but yeah, I think she must have been in shock, or as I said, like, maybe disbelief, because I think the operator had said at some point, I think it was on that, do you think it could be a prank? It could be like a mannequin head or something like that, you know what I mean? So I do think they were, and because she was phoning Shad's phone, I think she probably was still thinking there was a chance that it wasn't real, yeah. So, what exactly happened that night? Well, Shad and Taylor, as we know, went back to Tara's house, and they went down to the basement where they started, like, doing more drugs and having sex. So both of them had previously participated in BDSM with each other. Well, maybe with other people as well, but... so, you know, as I said, because they were in some sort of relationship, sexual relationship. And they enjoyed erotic asphyxiation, like using, like, dog collars and chains.
Right, okay.
So on this occasion, they were using chains. So, as they were having sex, Taylor began strangling Shad with the chain. I think it was like a dog's chain, you know, like a
metal chain.
Yeah, like a lead, like a dog's lead. Yeah. So she started strangling, which is something that they did quite often. But she later said that she could hear. Sorry, no. She later said she could feel his heartbeat as she cut his oxygen off. And then he started, like, coughing up blood, but she just kept going and pulling harder because she wanted to see what would happen. And what happened was, obviously, he died.
Right.
But she didn't stop there. Once Shad was dead, she performed oral sex on him, and she was, like, using sex toys on him for, like, several hours afterwards. She was cuddling with him, she was doing sexual things with his body for several hours after she'd killed him.
Okay.
So the following day is when she spent the day dismembering Shad's body. She went up to the kitchen and found some knives. She later stated that she found the bread knife worked best because of the serrated blade.
Yeah.
She moved his body so that his head was like hanging over the side of the bed, and she cut it off like over a bucket and a storage box to like contain the blood. So it's just went really dark in here, isn't it? I'm just like, is it raining? It's just went really dark all of a sudden. Yeah, so she had the storage box to contain the blood, and then she poured the blood down the shower drain. She then removed his organs, including his penis, and put all the parts in like boxes and bags,
for God's sake,
and the head in the bucket. Once she was done, she left the house, and she took one of Shad's legs with her and a couple of organs. I don't know.
Right.
And that's when Tara woke up with the door banging. Obviously, she wasn't quiet when she left. She banged the door and off she went.
Right.
And apparently she was intending on taking his whole body, but she was that drugged up that she just kind of got a bit lazy and, I think she just forgot the rest of him.
Oh, right, okay.
So when officers arrived at the house, they went straight to the basement and they found Shad's severed head in the bucket. They also obviously looked further into the room and they saw that the bed was covered in like blood and bodily fluids. Obviously his mum mustn't have noticed this. She must have just kind of took a quick look. Yeah. You know, she didn't notice. They saw that Shad's penis was also in the bucket with his head. It must have been underneath his head.
Oh, God.
And his torso and a foot was in the storage box. Other bags and boxes were found with his organs in them. So the police went straight to Taylor's house because Shad's mum was like, well, she was the last person that she'd seen with him. So when they got to her apartment, they saw her minivan parked outside and they sort of had a look around, and it was snowing. Like, well, it had been snowing anyway. There was snow on the ground and they could sort of see drips of blood in the snow.
Right.
And Taylor actually came out of the house, and I read that she was covered in dry blood, that it was all over her clothes, all over her, and all over her hands. But when I saw like body cam footage on YouTube, it didn't look like it, but I mean it was dark, so you might not have been able to see it, or that report might have just been wrong that she had blood on her. I'm not sure. And she had a cut on her thumb.
Right.
So she also had like scratches on her arms, which they must have noticed later because she had like a hoodie on when I saw the footage. So, but she claimed that they were self-inflicted. Right. So when the officer said, "Do you know why we're here?" and she went, "Yeah, it's because of my drug charges." So she was obviously still off her face, like, you know.
Did she not realise what she'd done?
Well, yeah, I think she knew exactly what she'd done. I don't know. Her behaviour is strange. Right. So the officers searched her minivan, and they found a crock pot, or what we call a slow cooker. It was a box. I don't think the slow cooker was actually in the box. I think it was just the box. Right. It wasn't empty. I was going to say empty box. It wasn't empty because it had Shad's leg in it and the other parts. You know? Yeah. And the other parts that she'd taken were in this crock pot.
God, that's just
box.
That's just like crazy. Like, who? What?
Oh. So of course she was immediately arrested, and when she was put in the back of the car, the police car, again, because I saw a few, like, if you just go onto YouTube and type in Taylor Shabusiness or Shad Thyrion or whatever, like, there's quite a few videos come up, like, because obviously this only happened in 2022, so you have the police body cam and all that. So I saw, you see her getting put in the back of the police car, and she just started laughing, and then, like, and she said, whilst laughing, I took him out. I think she went, I took him out, woo, like that. I think it was that bit.
Oh, okay.
And then she was just kind of like smiling to herself, like, you know when you can't contain yourself because you're so happy about something.
Then,
she must be.
Or that second head, I mean.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So she kept smiling at herself, and she was like sort of mouthing words but not actually saying anything. But then she did say out loud, Rittenhouse. So, Rittenhouse. Yeah, there was a guy called Kyle Rittenhouse, also from Wisconsin, and in August 2020, he shot and killed 2 men and injured another. The trial had just finished 3 months before Taylor's arrest, and he had been acquitted because he had claimed self-defence. So I'm thinking, was Did she think she was going to get off by claiming self-defence? Is that why she's muttering
maybe
his name?
That's no self-defence, love.
Yeah, I didn't read the case properly about him, but apparently there was like police, there were like protests because I think the police had shot and killed somebody.
Right.
So the public were like sort of protesting, and there's this guy Kyle. He shot a couple of folks, but he said it was self-defence and he got off with it, so...
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like, you can't claim self-defence in this case.
Exactly. Self-defence does not involve you dismembering and...
Strangling somebody whilst having sex.
Well, exactly.
And then dismembering them.
Exactly.
No, that's not self-defence.
Absolutely not.
So there was a guy in her apartment called Scott, and... because the police were like, is there anybody else in the house? And this guy came out and he's like, what the fuck? But he was like, because they got him down on the ground, he was like, handcuffed him, and he's like, what the hell is going on? I just got off the phone to the police. And he was like, they're like, well, we'll have to detain you. And he's like, but why? I've literally just been on the phone to use lot. Because he was reporting Taylor because she stole his vehicle. So this minivan was actually his.
Right.
So she had stole his vehicle, and she was actually supposed to be wearing an ankle monitor, but somehow she managed to get it off.
Oh.
And I'm like, how? If ankle monitors were that easy to get off, surely everybody would be doing it.
Well, normally when they're tampered with, it sets off some kind of alarm or something that...
I have no idea, but somehow she managed to get that ankle bracelet off.
Mm-hmm.
Ankle monitor, sorry. But he didn't seem to know what was going on and why he was being arrested. And as he told the officers, he's like, if I'd been involved with anything, why would I be phoning you like 10 minutes earlier? Like, what's going on? And they were like, well, we can't tell you what we're arresting you for, but we just want to question you. And he's like, what the fuck, what's going on? So I think he must have been taken, because like they did handcuff him, put him in the back of the car, and he's like, what the fuck? But he had nothing to do with it, so I'm assuming he must have... They've obviously realised that, but they've obviously had to question him.
Yeah, I get that. I mean,
but he was down on the ground. They were handcuffing him, and I'm like, I think America is quite extreme compared to us.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think. Well, I don't know because I've never been arrested, so.
But I suppose. I mean, I get it. I mean, they've.
They have to be careful.
Yeah, exactly. At this moment in time, they don't know who's been involved and what's happened. Like, I mean, they know Taylor's pretending to be involved, but did she have any help? Was there anybody else involved as well? So. The fact that this guy's come out of the house that she's at, I mean...
Yeah.
I get they probably need to rule him out, for their inquiries, but maybe not...
It was the way that they did it, because he came out with his hands up, and then they were like, right, get on the ground, put your arms like an aeroplane, and he was totally cooperating, so it wasn't as if he was like resisting arrest or anything like that. So, anyway, I just mentioned that because I saw it.
Yeah.
And it was his minivan.
Right.
So when questioned at the police station, Taylor was asked how she knew Shad, and she said that he was her ex. But I didn't read anything about them being in a relationship before. I mean, the only reason that I know that they went to school together was because I think it was on the 911 call that his mum had said that she knew Taylor and they'd went to school together. Right. So maybe they had at some point been together. Maybe. So she had a sample of her DNA taken. And she was left alone for a few minutes. But of course there was like cameras on her. And again, she just sat there and like smiled and like laughed to herself. It's just strange knowing what she's done.
Yeah. Weird.
When she asked why she murdered Shad, she said that night was a blur. And she saw herself doing it in the third person, but she never said why she did it.
Right, okay.
And when they told her that it had been Shad's mum who had found his head, she was like... Damn, I can't believe I forgot the head. Yeah, exactly. What? Like, what? So, the police, as we know, had already found other body parts, but they asked Taylor where they were. Mm-hmm. And she told them that they were going to have lots of fun finding all the organs and body parts because she had dismembered them. So, she was telling them that...
She had done it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she told them that she had fun strangling Shad. And when the officer asked her how she felt when she was doing it, she said, quote, "You ever love something so much that you kill it? Like, it happens to me. That's the feeling I have. I love something so much that I kill it." End quote. And I'm thinking, but you weren't in a relationship. Well, maybe you were in a relationship with this guy, but you've got a husband, so you never killed him, and you love him. And you know what I mean? Like,
it just
The relationship that she's got with Shad didn't seem to be like a love relationship. It did seem to be like we go out and party, we go and take drugs, and we hook up. That's what it seems like. It didn't seem like oh my god, this is like...
love my life.
Yeah, exactly. You're my soulmate. Like, it didn't seem like that kind of thing.
To be honest, I wouldn't even believe anything she said at this moment.
Well, So, Taylor was charged with murder, mutilation of a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault. So her attorney submitted a not guilty by reason of insanity plea on the 1st of September 2022. On the 14th of February 2023, her attorney requested that the trial date be put back so that experts could determine her competency to stand trial. And again, this is filmed. They were like in a courtroom in front of a judge, and she just attacked her attorney. Like, she's got the handcuffs and that on, sitting next to him. It's on film, on video on YouTube, and she just like launched an attack on him. But like, there was a sheriff's officer like right beside her, so
it didn't last too long.
Yeah, he just like tackled her down to the ground, and no one was hurt. And as I said, the video is on YouTube if anybody wants to see it. But she's not even making any noise. It's not like she's like shouting or screaming or anything like that. And like the sheriff's officer, like he's got her down on the ground, and you can see her legs like flailing about everywhere. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? Like, why? What's this all about?
Yeah, like, why are you doing that?
Like, your attorney's like trying to
help
give you extra time, put the trial date back, and all of a sudden out of nowhere she just attacked him. So 10 minutes later, the lawyer told the judge that he was going to file a motion to be removed from the case, which I don't blame him. Like, nobody wants to go to work and be attacked, do they?
Exactly. Why would you want that?
So he was replaced by another guy. So she must have been cast as fit for trial because she did stand trial. And at the trial, a forensic pathologist testified that Taylor had told her that she had a thing with Jeffrey Dahmer a year ago. Don't know how she'd have managed that because he was killed in prison in 1994 by another inmate. And this is
that's impossible.
This is 2023 by now, so... But yet she still seemed fit to stand trial.
Okay.
And on the 26th of July 2023, Taylor was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The judge said, quote, "This crime offends human decency, it offends human dignity, it offends the human community, it really does," end quote. And surprisingly, Shad's dad forgave Taylor, saying, quote, "I believe everybody makes bad choices. Maybe not to this scale. It does no good to hate you. I know you've got a heart, got a mind," end quote. That's a bigger person than me.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, maybe for his own sanity, he felt like he had to. I know that people do.
I think, yeah.
They do for like closure, like you have to forgive maybe the person's killer, but
yeah, I think it does help them. I don't think it's for the killer. I think it's for themselves. But like, I just couldn't imagine forgiving somebody who had not only murdered my son, but actually went to that
extent of
the dismemberment and the sexual assault.
Because I always think to myself, if it's one thing to obviously kill somebody, which is obviously horrific enough, but to then dismember somebody, whatever they do, like that's just like a whole new level of like.
To me, that's no, you haven't got a heart. That's cold-hearted.
Like to do that to somebody is like unthinkable, and it's just like despicable, and that's just you're obviously know what you're doing, and you're that sick and twisted that to kill them is bad enough, but to then do that is just that's just awful. So she the least it's the least that she deserves, I suppose. But
Taylor's husband Warren, the one that was in prison, so I had a nosy at his Facebook, and I read in his you have a bio. In his bio it says, quote, "I do trust my beautiful wife. I will do anything to protect her. Stay strong, baby boo. I love you." And then in the section for work, in the about section, he lists his job title as boss/protector/provider/pappy boo for Queen Taylor Shabusiness. And the date of his work dates, because this is the work bit, is from the 1st of January 2017 to the present. And in his job description, it says, quote, To make sure my queen knows that no matter if we're apart or not, that I will do whatever is necessary to get her back next to me. Never will I give up on her, nor will I ever lose confidence in our Shabusiness empire. My word has been my word to her. My word to her will never change. She knows better than anyone that I mean what I say and I say what I mean. Now, baby, I promise you that I'm going to be coming to get you. It's your golden year, and best believe you'll be in my arms for it. Baby, stay strong and always know that your king knows how to do one thing and one thing only. That's right, what we know best. The Shabusiness shuffle. The Shabusiness shuffle hustle. 2 love hearts. Now calm down, smile, and tell yourself with confidence that you're doing a good job. It's only a matter of time before you're home, baby. Till then, know that I'm here for you. Never have or will I give up on us. We will get through this obstacle / struggle together. Baby girl, it's been tough not having you by my side. But you're what motivates me to stay sane. Because nothing or no one could ever replace the feeling that I get when I'm next to your sexy ass. And then 2 kissing emojis. For real though. Be ready because I'm going to come get you soon. I promise, baby. I love and I miss you so much, beautiful. XOXO. Love heart. Love. Another love heart. King Pappy Boo Shabusiness. What the actual fuck? I'm sorry.
Is he deleted or what? Because I mean,
yeah.
she ain't fucking coming out anytime.
Right. She's been put in prison for life without the possibility of parole, and for killing somebody, a man that she was with when you were in prison, and she's
like cut up, like dismembered. She's not coming out. Like I don't think.
But why would you want to be with somebody like that?
Probably because he's fucked up a day, I don't know.
Well, if she was ever to come out, which she's not,
doing that to him?
Well, exactly. How would you feel safe sleeping next to that?
Exactly.
If she's capable of doing something like that.
And she certainly weren't loyalty if she was cheating on you while you were in prison, so...
Exactly. He's like loyalty over everything.
And then I'm thinking to myself, well, she's in prison for life without parole. He's a man. You know, is he going to stay loyal, really? You know?
Well, I don't think he was before because of her Facebook post that she'd put up before that, saying about getting hitched and like she's never getting in a relationship again.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of disconnect here,
well,
like.
I hate to tell you, mate, like you
move on.
You need to move on, get divorced or something, because unless there's something that we're totally missing here, it does not sound like she will ever see the light of day again.
Well, does he think, because he's like, I'm going to come and get you, what, is he going to break her out of prison?
Well, I mean, maybe that's the only way she's getting out, because I don't see any other way. She's certainly not getting out through the correct channels, I wouldn't have thought.
No.
So, you know, that thought needs to just vanish and move on, mate.
But, like, that's just mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and she deserves never to get out. She should be locked up for the rest of her life 100%. Because I mean, that's what a horrendous crime, what a horrendous thing to do to somebody.
Yeah, exactly. That's
absolutely awful. So, thank you to everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.